close your eyes and focus on your breathing. The intention for today is around feeling your edges. And that is something you can tune into in different ways. The simplest edge that we have is our skin boundary. So as you sit here, notice, okay, where is my skin boundary? What do I feel at that skin boundary? Maybe a sense of pressure at the places that are in contact with the floor. Maybe a sense of the air touching your hands or feet or face or anywhere the skin is exposed to the air. Maybe you have a sense of your clothes, the different textures or temperatures of different parts of your clothes. For the next few breaths, just feeling and focusing on your skin boundary. The edge of your physical being. Making your breath a really big part of that. Increasing the amplitude of your breath so that's helping you to feel where your physical edge is, where your skin edge is. Then I want you to reach your awareness wider and have a sense of the space around your body. A sense of your personal space that extends beyond the physical body. Noticing how comfortable you feel in your own space today. And noticing whether it feels like that space is just for you, or whether it feels like that space has been full of other people as well. Or whether it feels like actually you're an island and there's lots of space around you. Noticing your experience of that space around you. For this class, I want you to have the intent of claiming that space around you. So whether it feels like actually you've been really on your own and there's a lot of space and it's just feeling that, or whether it feels like you've actually been in a space with your family or other people and actually you have a sense it's about just kind of finding space for you within that dynamic. or whether you're somebody who just feels open to the whole universe and like this whole the whole societal situation we have just feels like it's in your space the whole time. I want you to breathe deeply, and know in breathing deeply and feeling your physical sense and feeling a sense of the space around you, you can claim that for you. You know, in this hour of practice, hour and a half of practice, you can be in your own space, claiming that for you. Just saying, for this hour and a half, my own space is for me. It's a space for me to pay attention to myself, to feel myself, and to find whatever I need in that space. Let's do some Brahmari breaths. So with Brahmari, you breathe in through the nose and then you hum through the mouth. Let's start by taking 3 Brahmari breaths into the chest area. Inhale through the nose, then hum any note you like. Making the sound super loud. Now take your hands onto the belly. We'll do 3 Brahmari breaths, sending the humming sound down to the belly now. Make this sound like a low sound, a deep sound, so that those lower frequencies have more chance of traveling further in the body, down to the belly and to the hips. 3 breaths. Two more, making the sound as loud as you can. Now take your hands onto your skull. Either just have the hands on the skull, or for some people it feels quite nice to put say the thumb in the ears and the hands over the eyes. And you'll take 3 humming breaths here, vibrating your skull. Take the sound slightly nasal, vibrating the sound around your head. 2 more. Then return to your deep yoga breathing, to Ujjayi breathing. And come onto your hands and knees. Moving through cat-cow first, but taking this in stages. Start just by tilting the hips. So on the inhale, the tailbone tilts up. On the exhale, the tailbone tilts down. just try to isolate the hip movement. So inhale, tailbone tilts up. Exhale, tailbone tilts down. Let's do a few more like that, just moving the hips. Having the breath slow, so making the movement slow as well. Having a sense of your body and a sense of the space around your body. Saying that space is for me right now. That's my space. Then let that movement become bigger. So on the inhale, on the exhale, tilt the tailbone down, push the mid back up, relax the head forwards. On the inhale, tilt the tailbone up, let the belly drop down, lift the head a little. So exhale, tailbone tilts down, mid back pushes up, head relaxes forwards. Keep going like that, changing the direction of this movement. Getting your back to move one way and then the other way. Feeling from the inside how this movement is for you today. Then add a little bit of forward and backwards to this movement too. So when you're doing the exhale part and rounding the back, take your weight back towards the heels a little. Then on the inhale, when you're arching the back, bend the elbows a bit, bring your weight forwards. Exhale, round the back, tilt tailbone down, bring the hips towards the heels. Inhale, tailbone tilts up, belly drops down, head lifts a little, traveling forwards. Come into rhythm with this. Finding your rate of breath, your rate of movement. Giving yourself permission to move at your own rate. To do things your way. And throughout this class, anytime a pose doesn't feel good for you, if there's pain, or if it just doesn't feel good, change it. It's really important to take responsibility for yourself and know that you have permission to modify and change anything at any time. Particularly if it's affecting an injury or a part of your body that you know is sensitive or a little weaker right now. Let's come into a wide-kneed child's pose. Take the knees wider apart on the mat and toes together. And then take your hips back towards the heels and relax your head and arms forward. Take a huge inhale into the back. Exhale, relaxing the head forwards. If your head isn't on the floor, take a cushion, something like that, and have the forehead on the cushion. Inhale and come back onto all fours, onto the hands and knees. Let's do a twisting child's pose now. Exhale and slide your left hand underneath the right armpit, and then bring the left hand side down to the floor. Or you could have the left hand side of your head on a cushion. Then adjust your right hand so it's kind of in front of your face and the right elbow is above the right wrist. Your hips are still up in the air. Hips are kind of above the knees for this one. Take some breaths into the mid-back here. Inhale and come back onto the hands and knees. Exhale, go the other way. Thread your right hand along the floor underneath the armpit, and then bring the right hand side of the head down to the floor. Maybe adjusting the left arm so the wrist and elbow are in front of your face. Inhale and lightly press the left hand into the floor. Exhale, notice if you can feel a stretch in the mid-back with that. Inhale and come out and make your way into a position where you could do downward facing dog. Or if downward facing dog is not your friend today, pick another pose to do instead today. Okay, inhale, tuck the toes under, press the hands down. Exhale, lift your knees up and come into down dog. Work into the backs of the legs here, stretching one heel towards the ground and bending the opposite knee. Staying there for a couple of breaths. And then stretch the back of the other leg. Then switch from side to side. Like you're running in slow motion on the spot. Easing into the backs of your legs. Inhale and straighten both legs now. Exhale, very slowly bend the knees and bring them down to the floor. Great. Let's do some abdominals now. Have the cushion nearby so we can use it for some squeezing in a moment. Come onto your back. And start with the knees bent and the hands on the belly. Taking some deep breaths and just having a sense of where is the edge that is my skin. And then where is the edge of my wider personal space? So now take your cushion and have the cushion between the inner thighs. Then lift your feet up off the floor and keeping the knees fairly close, I want you to rotate both feet outwards. So the thighs are staying squeezed in on the cushion, but both feet are rotated outwards. Hands will be on the belly. Inhale into the back ribs. Press the lower back down. Exhale and move the knees a couple of inches away from the chest. Keep pressing the lower back ribs down. Inhale, keep lower back ribs down. Bring the knees back up. The feet are sort of staying out to the side. Exhale, press the lower back ribs down. Press the lower back down. 2. Exhale, move the knees away from the chest. Feet are moving in the direction of the floor, but don't take them all the way to the floor. Take this slowly. Inhale, knees come back up. Keep squeezing the cushion. Exhale, press the lower back ribs down. Squeezing onto the cushion, moving the feet towards the floor. Keeping the back bottom ribs down. Inhale, legs come back up. Now, pay attention to your back with this. If the back feels like it's straining, you'll just go a little way. If it feels okay to go further with this, and it's not creating pain in the lower back, you could take your feet closer towards the floor. On inhale, the legs are coming back up. Press the back bottom ribs down. Keep them down. Exhale. Knees move away from chest. Inhale, legs come back up. And then do 2 more on your own. And then remove the cushion, bring the feet to the floor. And do a simple twist. Tracking your knees from side to side. Being aware of how you are moving through space. And yet there is still space around you. Come back to the middle. And we will work next with star spiral pulse. With this one, the leg goes straight up in the air. And I need to change my camera angle so you can see. In fact, if I go further back. Yeah. So the leg is going to go up in the air and then the toes turn inwards. So if you imagine, like, if you're going pigeon toe, the toes are turning inwards like that, but straight up in the air. So let's start with just the leg bit of this. So have the hands on the belly. Okay, inhale, lift both feet up off the floor. Hold the breath, press the lower back down, curling tailbone up. Do that without the knees coming in. Knees stay over the hips. Exhale, straighten your right leg straight up in the air, turn the toes in. Push your heel up towards the ceiling 1, 2, 3 times. Inhale, bend the knee. Press the lower back down, curl tailbone up without bringing the knees in. Exhale, left leg goes straight up in the air, rotate the whole leg in and pulse upwards 1, 2, 3 times, pulling the belly down. Inhale, bend the knee. Press the lower back down. Exhale, straighten up the right leg. Have the foot flexed, rotate it inwards, and pulse the heel up 3 times, pulling the belly down. Inhale, bend the knee. Press lower back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, left leg goes up in the air, rotate in, pulse the heel 3 times, pulling the belly down. Inhale and bend the knee. Now, we'll do 2 more rounds. If you want to stick with this basic level, leave the head and shoulders on the floor and you'll be doing the same thing as you just did. If you feel you could take this a stage further, clasp the hands around behind the head and you'll also be moving the head and shoulders too. Okay, If you're doing head and shoulders, inhale and lift the head and shoulders up. Hold the breath, press lower back down and curl the tailbone up. Exhale, reach both elbows towards your left knee. Take the right leg up in the air, rotate it in and pulse 3 times. Inhale, bend the knee and bring your elbows to the middle. If your head and shoulders are up, they stay up. Press the lower back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows go to the right, left leg goes up. Rotate the whole leg in and pulse the heel 1, 2, 3 times. Inhale, bend your knee, elbows to the middle. Hold the breath, press lower back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to the left, right leg goes up in the air. Rotate the whole leg in and pulse the heel. Pull the belly down. Inhale, bend the knee. Head and shoulders are in the middle. Press low back down, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows to the right, left leg goes up. Rotate the whole leg in and pulse the heel 1, 2, 3 times. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, bring the head to the floor and the feet to the floor. Bring the hands back to the belly. Feeling how this part of you is strengthening. And feeling for the wisdom in this part of you. However you're feeling that wisdom today. Whether it's speaking loudly or whispering softly. Find your cushion again and have the cushion between the inner thighs. Like fold it in half so it's quite chunky. And we'll do a moving bridge with the breath now. So plant your feet on the floor and feel that the feet are parallel. And then have the arms on the floor. Turn the palms so they face up. Inhale, squeeze onto the roll and curl your sitting bones up. Exhale, lift the hips up, coming into bridge. Inhale and come back down to the floor. Exhale, squeeze the roll, tilt tailbone up, curl the sitting bones up, lifting up. Inhale, curling down. Do 2 more like that. Next, we'll do wrist stretches lying on the back. You have 2 options here. You could either stay with the back on the floor, and you'll be doing wrist stretches like this. If you're having a strong day, you could do wrist stretches in bridge with the hips up. So up to you whether you're doing this with the hips on the floor or the hips up in the air. You can keep the cushion there and keep squeezing onto the roll. So inhale, lift the hips up if you want to do that. Exhale, everybody stretch your left hand out in front of the chest. And then hold onto the little finger with the other hand. Inhale, stretch out the fingers on the left hand. Exhale, stretch the little finger backwards. Inhale, hold onto the ring finger. Exhale, stretch the ring finger back. Inhale, hold onto middle finger. Exhale, stretch the middle finger back. Inhale, holding the index finger. Exhale, stretching index finger back. Inhale, holding onto the thumb, pulling the thumb out to the side. Exhale and stretching the thumb back. Now do the same on the other hand. One breath into each finger. Either with the hips lifted up in bridge or hips on the floor. Then ease down to the floor, remove your cushion once you've done with those 5 breaths. Then roll onto one side. And we'll work with dolphin next. So let's do dolphin with the hands clasped. And if you're having a strong day today, you could take one leg up in the air. If that doesn't feel so good, keep both feet on the floor. All right, so bring the elbows down to the floor and measure up your elbow distance. You want the elbows to be a little closer than the shoulder joint distance. Then interlace the hands together. So fingers are clasping together. Great. Inhale, press the forearms down and relax the head forwards. Exhale, tuck the toes under and lift the knees up. If you also want to lift one leg up in the air, then lift your right leg up and back. Hold it there for 3 breaths, and then switch to the other leg and hold the other leg there for 3 breaths. Inhale, lift the ribs away from the floor, pressing the forearms into the floor. Exhale, relaxing the head and neck. Feel for where your edges are. Where is your skin boundary? And then where is the space around you? Claiming that space for yourself. Once you're done, bring both knees down to the floor and come into child's pose, just for 3 breaths. Noticing what it feels like to be a smaller shape now, like you're taking up, like you're a more compact shape. Noticing how that feels at the skin boundary level, and notice how that feels in terms of the space around you. Then ease out of that and come to standing on your mat. Have your cushion, and then again kind of fold your cushion up, have it between your legs. You'll end up with like your favorite cushion for yoga. Try all of the ones in your sitting room and you'll find like, okay, this is about the right size for me. And then let's do some rocking. I wanted to get us connected to the lower buttock muscles. So if you take your hands onto your lower butt, like just below where the round bit is, below where the sitting bones are, really at the top of the thighs, have the fingertips in the middle there. Play with squeezing your thighs onto the cushion and feel whether you can get the lower buttock muscles to switch on and off. Notice if both sides are working. Sometimes one side could be more asleep than the other. Okay, let's try doing that kind of in slow, a little bit more in slow motion with a bit of tilt to the hips as well. So keep the hands there if it feels helpful. Inhale and set up your feet so they're parallel and the feet are active. Exhale, bend the knees, send the hips backwards. Inhale, activate those buttock muscles, squeeze the cushion and straighten up. Inhale, bend the knees, send the hips backwards. Exhale, squeeze the cushion, activate the lower buttock muscles, straighten up. Now take the hands on the hips, continue the same thing. Inhale, bend the knees, send the hips back. Exhale, squeeze the cushion, straightening up, feeling the lower buttock muscles. Do that a few more times. Feeling the feet and feeling these muscles down here. Great. Then remove your cushion. Let's do a few things in horse stance. So standing so you can take the feet quite wide apart now. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees and bend the knees. Great. Let's start with twisting horse. Inhale, activate your feet by lifting and spreading the toes. Exhale, take your chest towards the left knee. Inhale, standing upright. Exhale, chest towards the right knee. Inhale, standing upright. Exhale to the left. Keep both knees bent. Inhale, standing straight, but knees stay straight. Exhale, chest to the right. Do one more either side. Keeping both knees bent. Great. And then heel toe your feet in towards the middle. Next, let's do some B-series sun salutations with 3 pose vignettes mixed in. So we'll be doing sets of 3 poses, all with the left foot forward, and then all with the right foot forward. In between those sets of 3 poses, there will be some sun salutation type action. If today sun salutations are not so good for you, maybe your wrists are not so good with that, or your shoulders or your ankles, then in between those sets of 3 poses, you could just stand up and maybe do a mini forward bend, mini back bend. Or you could have a few breaks, few breaths of just kind of calm breathing in between the 3 sets of poses. It's up to you. I will instruct the sun salutations in between, but if that doesn't feel good for you, just change it and skip out the bit where it goes into plank and cobra and down dog. So it's totally up to you. Do what will feel better for your body today. Let's start off in a warrior 1. Inhale, step the left foot forwards and the right foot back. Exhale and bend your left knee. Now, take your right hand onto the right lower buttock muscle and feel if by pressing the right leg down a little more, can you get the right lower buttock muscle to switch on some. Good. Keep that sense of connectedness to the lower butt. Now we'll also move into eagle arms. Inhale and bring the elbows up. Exhale, cross the left elbow over right elbow. Keep the elbows hooked over. If the hands don't meet, that doesn't matter. If you can hook the hands around, then feel free to do that. Feeling, where are my edges today? Feeling for taking up the amount of space that you take up. Not needing to be smaller, not needing to be bigger. Just feeling how big, just feeling what size and what space you need right now. Whether that means allowing yourself to be a bit bigger or allowing yourself to be a bit smaller. If you're out there in the world, come back to yourself. If you're kind of crushed into yourself, allow yourself to expand. Release the arms. Then we'll do shoulder shrugs. Inhale into upper back. Shoulders up, shoulders back. Tops of shoulders squeeze together. Exhale, slide down. Inhale into your upper back. Squeeze the mid-shoulder blades together. Exhale, slide down. Inhale into upper back. Squeeze the lower edges of the shoulder blades in using the elbows. Exhale, slide down. Do one more set of 3 breaths, 3 more shoulder shrugs. Great, relax the arms and bring your right knee down to the floor to do twisting lunge. So left foot is forward, right knee's on the floor. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, hook the right elbow over the left thigh. Make a fist with the right hand and then wrap the left hand around the right fist. Breathe and claim your space. Feel for allowing yourself to take up space within your own skin. And feel for what extent it feels comfortable to have some awareness in that wider sense of personal space. Unhook your elbow. If you wanted to stand up between these sets of 3 poses, then you'd stand up now. If you want to move through the half sun salutation, inhale and make your way into plank. Exhale, lower down to the floor. Inhale into cobra. Exhale into downward dog. Everybody, inhale and step the right foot forward. The left foot is back. Exhale, standing up, bend the right knee. Take your left hand onto the left lower buttock. feel if you can get the muscles there to wake up a little more. Like when I do that, I can feel bits of my leg move around and the front of the leg open a lot because I'm using the back leg more. Okay, then when you've got that sense of connection to the legs, to the butt, let's do eagle arms. Inhale, pick the elbows up. Exhale, crossing right elbow over left elbow. Maybe taking the hands together, or maybe keeping the hands apart if that feels like it gets a stretch in your shoulders. Staying with your body, your sense of yourself, the sense of the space around you. Release the arms for shoulder shrugs. Inhale into upper back. Shoulders up, shoulders back. Squeeze tops of shoulder blades together. Exhale, slide down. Inhale into upper back. Squeeze the mid-shoulder blades together, keeping the front lower ribs in. Exhale, slide the shoulders down. Inhale into upper back. Squeeze the elbows in, squeeze the lower edges of the shoulder blades together. Exhale and slide down. Do 3 more breaths of that on your own. Once you finish that, then we'll come into twisting lunge. So bring your left knee down to the floor. The right foot is forward. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, left elbow hooks over right thigh. Connecting the hands together. Breathing and making space internally, even though you're in a twist. If it feels like the front of your body is kind of collapsing, I want you to lift the chest up and feel for making more space across the front of the diaphragm. And feel if that enables you to get more breath in. Unhook your elbow. Either stand up or come into plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Step your left foot a long way forwards. And then we'll all set up for warrior 2. So have your left foot out 90 degrees and left knee bent. Right foot comes in a bit. Then find your lower butt muscles and feel if you can bring them into being more involved in this pose. Like I can particularly feel on my right lower buttock, I can really get that working a lot more. Now we'll move into reverse warrior. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, right arm down, left arm up. If the shoulder position here doesn't feel good for you, you could do this with the arm lower down. And also if your back feels compressed, you could take the right hand onto the hip and feel for making more space on the right-hand side of the waist. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale and into an extended warrior. If it feels comfortable in the shoulder, reach the arm out so it's like in a straight line with your leg. Feel how your right foot and right hand are a long way from each other here. Like your edges are quite spread out. Final thing on this side we'll do is ostrich. Interlace your hands together. So do this with the hands, but do that with the hands behind the back. If it feels like, if your hands won't do that behind the back, you could just hold onto the wrists or maybe hold onto the elbows. So we were doing this from warrior two legs. Inhale, interlace the hands, lift the chest up. Exhale and fold forwards into ostrich. Either taking the chest and ribs just straight forwards, or if it feels like your back needs more support, for some people, resting the ribs on the left thigh could feel good. Inhale and lift the hands up a little so you get a stretch in the shoulders. Exhale, relax the neck. Relax all tension in the neck and the jaw. If you lift the hands too high here, it sort of really compresses around the shoulders and neck. So don't go so far. Okay, release the hands. Either walk your hands around to the left foot and come into plank, or stand up. If you're doing plank, inhale and have the shoulders over the wrists. Exhale, lower down to the floor. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to downward dog. Other side. Inhale and step your right foot all the way forwards. Exhale, stand up and set yourself up for warrior two. This time, the right toes are turned out 90 degrees, right knee is bent. Spend the first couple of breaths checking into your lower butt muscles. Have your feet active and be connecting into the lower butt. Okay, inhale, arms out. Exhale and come into reverse warrior. If you need to modify the arms here to support the back or change the shoulder angle, feel free to do that. Feel free to change anything at any time that you want to. Inhale and come back to warrior two. Exhale and move into extended warrior, but reaching the arm forwards. Inhale, activate the hands and the feet. Exhale, feel if you can make a connection to your left lower buttock. Being in your own space, being in your own body. Inhale to warrior two. Exhale, clasp the hands behind, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale and come forwards into ostrich. You're still keeping the right knee bent. Just paying attention to the arms. Where do you feel like you get a good opening in the shoulders, but not over scrunching? Only lifting the hands so high as that feels good to your shoulders. Okay, relax the arms. And either stand up or come into plank. If you're standing, take some steady breaths. If you're doing the half sun salutation, inhale, feeling the strength in your plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale into a cobra. Exhale into a downward facing dog. And then everybody come onto your hands and knees. Let's play with a couple of back bends. For this next one, what would be great is if you find a blanket and roll it up into a kind of thin, narrow roll. If you could kind of have it kind of almost 4 or 5 inches thick, or if you're new to this, maybe start with quite a thin rolled blanket. Then you are going to lie on the blanket with the blanket in your belly. If you know you've got quite a lot of sensitivity in your belly today, or there's inflammation there, and it doesn't feel good to lie on the roll, then either make the roll really, really thin or really soft, or just don't lie on the roll. If it's just like, it's a little bit uncomfortable because I feel like I'm digesting some stuff, that's okay. But you know, if there's something more serious going on there, then feel free to change it. All right, great. Then set yourself up with your elbows underneath the shoulders, legs going straight back. Inhale and lift up into a low cobra. Exhale, staying up here. Inhale, use the hands to pull your chest forwards. Exhale, press the tops of the feet down into the floor. Feel for getting the lower buttock muscles to switch on here too. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Then next time you exhale, lie down over the roll. Lie down so the roll is pushing into the belly. Doesn't want to be pushing into the ribs though. If it's on the ribs, just move it so it's out the way of the ribs. Wants to be pushing into the squishy parts. Turn your head to the right and then take your right hand behind the lower back. And send some big breaths into your belly and into the lower back. Okay, now come onto the hands and knees and unroll your roll. If that's the first time you've ever laid over a roll, know that it is quite weird, but it can be quite good for massaging the stuck bits in one's guts. Unroll the blanket now, and we'll do camel. So something like a blanket would be great, just to provide a bit of extra padding underneath the knees and feet. And then you're kneeling up with the knees and shins parallel. Hands come onto the hips. So this is a mini back bend. Inhale, lengthen the ribs up. Exhale, find your lower buttock muscles and switch them on. Feeling that, pull the tailbone down a little bit. Inhale, keep lengthening the ribs up, keeping that stability from the buttocks. Exhale, and maybe lift the chest a little more. Now, with these back bends, if there's any pain in the lower back, I want you to just be more straight here. Don't go into such an arch. With your neck, it depends on the neck. If you have any issues in the vertebra of the neck, in the vertebra or the discs, or any neck pain, I would say keep the chin tucked in. If your neck is very happy, however, and there is no pain in taking the head back, you could do that. But if that feels painful on any level, keep the chin tucked in. All right, ease back down and take your hands onto the lower back. Send some massive breaths into the lower back. We'll do that one more time. Now, if you were enjoying that, and if it felt you could go further, you could take the hands back onto the feet. So the easiest way to do that is to tuck the toes under. And then you'd be taking the hands onto the heels. Still working this as a back bend, lifting the chest up like that. If going into more of a back bend just would not feel good in your lower back right now, you'll keep working with the hands on the hips so you're not going so far. Great. Start with the hands on the hips and inhaling, lifting the ribs up, lengthening the lower back. Exhale, switch the lower buttock muscles on. Make them part of this pose. Then either stay with the hands on the hips, just lifting the chest here, or if you want to go further, take the hands onto the heels. Don't let the hips collapse back at that point. The hips is going forwards, chest is lifting up, lower back is staying long. Again, doing whatever will work best for your neck. Feeling your skin boundary, feeling your skin edge. And having a sense of the edge and space around you. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, sit back down. Take the hands onto the lower back. Next is lounge lizard. So you'll have the cushion between your legs, and then it doesn't really matter what side you do this on, but I've lined up my elbow, my hip, my legs, so I'm all in a straight line. And then you could either do this elbow on the floor, or you could do this with a hand on the floor, depending on how that is. If that feels horrible in your shoulder, then you want to do the elbow on the floor version. Inhale and flex both of your feet. Exhale, squeeze your inner thighs onto the cushion. Feel for getting the lower butt muscles switched on. This other hand can just be wherever it helps you to balance. Send some breath into the side of the waist and the side of the lower back that are getting to open right now. Change to the other side, whichever way it makes sense to change over. Imagine there's a line drawn down your mat and you're aligning your ankles, hips, shoulder on that line. Either doing this with the hand on the floor or the elbow on the floor. Squeezing the cushion and connecting to your lower butt. Connecting to your lower butt is awesome because it helps to connect the power of your legs and the power of the rest of you. Helps to get things connected up. And also, if you're able to be present to your hips, to your butt, then there's a good chance that you're in the body and you're paying attention to the body and you're feeling what's going on in your body right now. And in a world that distracts us in so many ways, being in connection to and paying attention to the body is really good. And can often help us feel more sane and better. Better than when we're lost in thought. Okay, bend your knees. And next thing we'll do is a lying down twist. So come onto the back and then bring both knees in towards your chest. And then take both knees over to the left. Rest your right arm out on the floor, past the head, and then take your left hand onto the lower ribs. If you need to arrange the arms some other way, that's totally fine. Send some breath into the bottom right hand corner of the lungs. Focusing again on the lungs. Being aware of the movement of the lungs. Then take this left hand onto the side ribs, a little bit higher up. Breathe into the side ribs. Then take your left hand into the right armpit and send the breath there. Feeling how your breath, your lungs, your ribs is moving. These are all moving. Then bring your arms out to the side. Bring one knee back to the middle and then the other knee back to the middle. And then twist over to the other side. So bring both knees down to the floor on the right. And then take your left arm, reach it out past the head somewhere, and with your right hand find the lower edge of the ribs. Feeling your breath. Take the hand a little higher up onto the side of the rib cage. I really love this simple exercise right now. For me, it feels profoundly helpful to the lungs to be deliberately using and sending breath to different parts of the lungs. So whether it's just about using the breath to create internal calm and steadiness, or whether you get the virus or a cold and your lungs feel sticky, this is really helpful. Take your hand into the armpit, send your breath up into that part of your lungs. Imagine all the little air sacs getting to fill up with air. And then feel the movement as the air empties out as well. Feel how the muscles around your ribcage are supporting this. Because you've been doing yoga for a while, you're able to access this breathing capacity. You're able to use the muscles around the ribs and the diaphragm really efficiently. And that is really supportive to your breath, whatever challenges you meet. Bring the arms either side and bring one knee back to the middle and then the other knee back to the middle. Back release pose is next. Inhale and bring the left knee in and then rest the outside edge of the ankle on the right thigh. Exhale, pick the right foot up off the floor and hold on with both hands around the right thigh. Pulling the legs towards you. If this isn't working for you today, an alternative might be to have the right foot on the floor, left hand on the left thigh, just tractioning the left thigh by pressing the hand on the thigh. Close your eyes and feel where your edges are. Where is your physical edge? Where is your non-physical edge? Release the legs and switch over to the other side. Either working this, just pressing the right hand on right thigh, or lift the left foot up off the floor, hold with both hands around the left thigh. Pulling the legs towards the chest if you're holding onto the thigh. Then let go of the leg and cross the foot and set yourself up for Shavasana. So however you want to do Shavasana today. And then when you're settled, feel that sense of this is the physical space I take up. And then that sense of that wider space around you. That's also your personal space. Just saying to yourself internally, this is my space. Just allowing yourself to be in that space and to rest in that space. And if as you rest, thoughts or emotions arise, notice them, but also imagine them just sort of melting or evaporating. So that there's space for all that, but your space is bigger than just the feelings, it's bigger than just the thoughts. There's also an aspect and quality of your personal space that is spacious. Resting inside of that space, of your space, for a few minutes. Begin to deepen your breath and tune in to a color of light that would feel good right now. Pick a color of light, whether it's white or gold or green or blue or whatever you like. And as you breathe deeply, imagine filling the space around you with that light. So the whole of the space around you, your personal space, is filled with light. Powerful, beautiful light. Feeling how with your deep breath, there's a sense of being able to pull in that light. And maybe on the exhale, dissolve anything you don't need. Have a sense of this light being able to help you keep whatever your boundaries are. A sense of being able to allow in what you want to allow in, and being able to say no to anything you don't want. Whether that's just being able to take time for yourself sometimes, or whether it's just saying no to a lot of the fear that's going around in the world at the moment. Feeling how in your space, in your bubble, you can say yes to things and you can say no to things. Just even those words, yes and no, can be so powerful. Whether you say them internally or whether you say them out loud. And then being aware of your physical edges, being aware of this wider edge around you, begin to move and to stretch however you want to move and stretch.